Hello! I'm joined today by two Americans giving their verdict on this beer. Got the girl next door, Maria Devan, and also Ronald Theriot from Louisiana Beer Reviews.
Greetings, world, from Louisiana
US of A.
in the United States of America. Oh, what a wonderful time. New York,
Yeah,
Franklin, and Louisiana.
represent New York. Oh, yeah.
Right.
So we've got Maria Devan from New York, the girl next door, and Ronald Theriot from Louisiana, Louisiana Beer Reviews. Today we've got one of the most iconic American craft beers out there, Lagunitas IPA.
Boy. I think it was $1.49 for a single over here.
It was 165 sterling here. How much
Well,
was
I
it
bought
in
the whole
New York?
six-pack, so I paid the most. I
What?
bought all six.
Oh, how much was a six-pack?
I don't even remember. It was comparable to everything on the West Coast shelf over there, which tends to be a little bit more expensive.
So the beer pours golden brown. Is it much difference to yours? It's getting a bit yellowy.
I've actually got like what I'm going to call an effervescing golden color with like an orange little blush on it, a creamy head of cream-colored foam too. Isn't that just gorgeous?
Yes.
That
And
has just a slight hiss of orange in it. In this light, yeah. See, you can see it good there.
yeah, I think it's orange gold. Look at that. I'm getting some
Yeah.
really strong light on this beer.
Yeah, beautiful colour on it. Now, version of Lagunitas is imported by Addenham's Brewery out of Southwold.
Adnams.
Yes, I think you get some Addenham's beers over in the US of A, don't you?
Yes, I do. And I've done Adnams Broadside and Tally Ho Reserve, I believe it was, which was
Yes.
wonderful.
Have you managed to try any Addenham's beer, Maria?
I have tried, I think, their barley wine. I think I've only had one. And it's not that I don't see them, but I see them infrequently. It depends on which store I'm in.
Okay. The head on the Lagunitas is very soapy white, tight bubbles.
Yeah, it's moussey. It's actually what you would call like a rocky head of foam.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to hang out there and it's going to fall lazy. It's going to cling and leave lace. I mean, these bubbles are half the fun in mine of watching them just constantly rise to the top. I wish you could see it better.
Now,
But they're
Stuart,
just,
yeah, they're like, are they like fierce bubbles or lazy bubbles?
Mine is tightly packed, and it did have an aggressive head, and it did shoot up pretty well.
Yeah, I'm getting some lazy ascending bubbles. Nothing too fierce, you know. What about
mine
you?
are just like cascading upwards and just like plentiful. I mean, there are just so many. It's very cheerful.
Now, folks, I'm looking at their website. They're saying a well-rounded, highly drinkable IPA. They said caramel malt barley provides the richness that mellows out the twang of the hops. They're saying 6.2 alcohol by volume, 52 IBUs. Now they like to be cute, so they're saying 51.5, but 52. Original gravity of 1.06, which I don't necessarily understand. It was introduced 20 years ago, so we're picking the right time to do it.
What?
1995.
That's old. That's
That's
really
old.
old. I'd say props to them for having a terrific IPA out that long.
Boy, you said it.
I'm getting on aroma like a honeycomb.
Yes. Honeycomb.
Mine's dank and has like pine and earth and like a citrusy little backing, like a little zesty citrus peel to go along with this pine and earth. Sweet little malt.
I just recently got mine. I think Jay recently got his. Maria, who got us the other week the 6-pack, and she was just eager to drink this. It's just one of the most well-known and easy-drinking beers.
Yeah, Lagunitas fresh beer is just so tasty and delectable. That's how I would describe this beer, right? It's not one of your sweeter IPAs. It's bolder and it's more bitter. But it's really nice because it has a little bit of mouthfeel, and I got mine super fresh. The date was 2/15/5, so the 215th day of this year it was bottled, so it's like dank and fresh.
I'm not seeing any date. Where's the doggone date?
On the neck of the bottle in the black inkjet, so you can hardly see it. You got to play with it in the light until you see it.
Oh,
I never understood why they put black ink on a brown bottle.
It's just how they do it. It's like right up close to the top, right there. And so that those first numbers are your date, 2/15/5 or whatever yours say.
Mine, I found it. It says 07/07/2016.
You have a Best Buy date instead of a bottled on date?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Cool.
Well, I'm guessing that's because it's imported into the UK.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I can't figure mine out. But anyway, it tastes good, and I don't care.
That's right. Just wait for them to bring it. You know, they bring it every once in a while.
Now, speaking of the alcohol, 6.2, the aroma, you don't get that much of the alcohol.
No.
No, me either. No, none of the alcohol is on this nose.
No, this beer shines forth in the flavor, and it's like they said on the website, balance. It's like malt, then hops, malt, then hops. It's bouncing back and forth like a racquetball court.
Now, I've put the links to Maria and Jay in the description bar. Check out their channels as well.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
No worries.
Absolutely.
Any more aroma?
The aroma, like Maria said, is dank, and it's so hard to describe for me.
Oh, well, I was going to say that I think it really favors the hops, right? As far as the presentation on the palate goes with this beer, like what Stuart said, this malt is just like a little kiss of honey sweetness, but there's just all these powerful hops on the palate. They're fruity, they're piney, they're earthy, they're lip smacking. You know, they coat the palate with that idea of resin, but it's not heavy, right? So there's a little bit of good sticky mouthfeel to it, and it just drinks so well. It's fresh and dank. My bottle is anyway, and it's pungent, it's aromatic. It's got lots of citrus and plenty of just like hops, lots of hops, and a good firm bitterness to finish it. Right? It's not sharp, it's not weak and sweet. It's a good bracing beer.
Almost like a lemon muffin.
I'm getting some mango or something. I don't understand. I don't know. It's mango and celery.
Yeah, I get a little bit of celery. But that might be from the because it's coming straight from the fridge. It might give off that kind of aroma. Anyway, cheers, Maria. Cheers, Jay.
Cheers, Stuart.
Cheers, Clink.
Initial taste, you do get the alcohol.
Little bit.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of like Madeira cake, lemon muffin.
I'll tell you one thing. I was talking to a guy on Facebook yesterday or the day before yesterday, and he said he could not finish a 6-pack. This is you're gonna find this comical. He could not finish a 6-pack of Pilsner Urquell because it was just too bitter.
Pilsner Urquell can be bitter to some people. The Pilsner can be bitter.
He would.
Yeah, it all depends on your personal palate, really, doesn't it?
Imagine if you drank this, though.
Well, the Beer Scout, Justin Terry, he's the one who's a massive fan of this. I managed to visit him in Ohio, and this is still always in his fridge. Have you always got some sort of IPA that you put in your fridge?
No.
Yeah, I like IPAs. I really do. My local has a really good one, Flower Power, and I like Victory's IPAs, and Southern Tier has a well-crafted, solid IPA. We've got Brooklyn IPA, which is just like sparkling, fantastic, fruity, sweet little IPA as compared to this one. But I mean, yeah, their 6 Point has their Bengali Tiger, which I like about the least of their beers. But that's another IPA, so yeah, I have lots that I could go to. And then if I look towards Pennsylvania, I got Sly Fox making IPAs, and I just like lots. Smutty Nose.
So would you? It's kind of a repeat beer. It's beer that you would easily have in your fridge. Or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's always some kind of IPA hanging around my.
Is it Ithaca? Flower Power?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in.
There's Flower Power.
I remember seeing it in the sports bar in Ohio. Dean Vanessa's Time Out in Ohio. He had it on. It was lovely beer. Light and slightly citrus. But Jay, you must have an IPA in your fridge that you keep buy back.
I don't.
Buy.
I don't, but I have IPAs that I sort of rotate with. You know what I mean? Like one that's making me think right now that I need to really go back and revisit is Lagunitas Hop Stupid IPA with 102 IBUs. I've seen that around a lot lately. I wanna revisit that. But ones that we get around here that are so common. Not a lot of the ones Maria named, unfortunately, but we get a Beta Giacomo, of course. That's very common, and Goose IPA, Stone, which a lot of people have criticism of, although I do score it an A. Even though I criticize it, I think it's most excellent. What else was a common IPA that we would get? Oh, of course, Torpedo.
Torpedo! Sierra Nevada, along with Lagunitas, are probably the most well-known craft breweries out of America. I think it'd probably be Sierra Nevada number 1, Lagunitas number 2, and then number 3 will probably be Stone. The most reliable breweries, and then 4th probably Brooklyn and such.
Now there's a guy.
Yeah, those guys have a very strong national and international presence. You know, craft beer can be so local, you know, but if you ever want to like have a beer in common, you can trust that people are going to all have Sierra Nevada, at least their flagship beers, or like you said, Lagunitas. And then you know, if you start breaking it down smaller, then it's harder and harder to find things in common.
Right, like all the time I'm saying Flower Power. Never in my life have I seen that in the store. Even when I drove to New York City this summer, I didn't see it, but
it's just one of those things. And don't ask me why someone in Illinois has Flower Power and you don't. I mean, I just don't know. They don't check with me. As long as I get mine, though, I'm happy.
Yeah. Now there's a guy who called me up last night. Well, I talked to him on the phone last night. He said he wanted me to go to his house Sunday because they're cooking a brisket and they have all these beers that they brewed. They wanted me to try, and I did that in July. But he said he's going to give me a bottle of Pliny the Elder, and I hear that's a good one.
It is.
You're gonna love it. I can't. Well, don't take my word for it. I can't wait to see what you think. I happen to really like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lovely beer. I do prefer their Blind Pig because it has less stigma attached to it. Because the Blind Pig is just a beautiful, nice, tasty beer. I think it's about the same ABV as this.
Did my eyes just turn green? You've had it. I haven't had it. I haven't had Blind Pig yet.
I've never had Pliny the Elder, and I've never had what's that other one in that silver can with the black writing?
Eddie Topper.
I never had Hetty Topper.
I have.
Yeah. I have too.
If you watch the video for Eddie Topper from the brewer, he goes into such detail about the can. It's such a great video.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like tried his beer actually at every single like time point. I think that guy
Yes.
is one of the few brewers, right, that has had his beer as old or as young as you could possibly have it, and will tell you straight up you can drink this beer, even if it's not, 10 days old.
Now, Lagunitas, most of their beers I like, but there are some that they make that I find are not the greatest thing. But this is one of their good ones. They have some other ones that aren't the great, they aren't too terrific, but
I think two of my
Which ones
favorite
don't you like, Jay?
oh, I don't want to say that.
cappuccino. We have the cappuccino.
I was going to buy it, and then I went to get it, and they didn't have it. Well, I like the Hop Stupid, although I didn't see that it was so bitter like they were touting. You know how that goes. They tout stuff, and it doesn't live up to it. But it still was good, of course. The Lagunitas Pils was really nice. Really nice. Lagunitas,
That's a Czech-style Pilsner. You can't compare that to a German-style Pilsner, just so you know.
I know. I liked it. I loved it, actually. But the Lagunitas, little something, something, to me that was like a little blah, blah.
Well, I like something, something. I thought that was a really dynamic beer.
Now, the Lagunitas Sucks, I was happy with it. Although it was sort of like a move.
Delicate. Were you expecting delicate with a name like Sucks, right? Didn't you expect a pine bomb or a hop bomb like this? And then you got that delicate, fruity beer.
Yeah, and then isn't there a beer they make that they give it a really bad name, but it's the opposite of what they call it? Like it's supposed to be.
Oh, I don't know.
It's supposed to be really harsh, but then yet the funny thing is that it's like a session IPA or something. I can't remember the name. Well, anyway, I'm generally favorable towards their stuff. So I'm not a Lagunitas.
Their Imperial Stout is delightful. It's just a charming, simple stout that's lovely to drink. It's nothing fancy. It's not going to knock you down with a bourbon barrel-aged whatever, or cherries added, or sour this or whatever. But it's just lovely. What else do they make that's really good? Hop Stupid.
I need to look at their portfolio because I bet you I've had more beers from them than I can remember. But this beer here, it finishes so pleasant, and it is drinkable to an extent. And really, honestly, I really can't think of too many bad things to say about it, if any.
No.
I would highly recommend everybody try this beer.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's in 3 different locations, Louisiana, New York, as well as here in Yorkshire, UK. And the fact that it's now in actual stores, it speaks volumes of how well this beer is received.
You said.
Yeah, I think that's just tremendous that we were able to finally connect with this here beer. I mean, this was it, the one that the 3 of us had.
Yeah, because you know how much of a problem it can be sometimes to find commonality. Look at last night. Here's a perfect example. And it has nothing to do with IPA. But I'm bringing it up for that point of commonality. I've found a Mexican beer, which is probably the best tasting Mexican beer that you can find. It's called Bohemia Classica, right? And I can find it in New Orleans. So I told my friend, y'all might have noticed that I do those Wednesday night hangouts that Maria joins us with sometimes. Stuart can't because it's so late in the morning for him.
Yeah.
But,
I'm off work at that time.
Yeah, so we're doing all these beers, right? So then I said, let's do Bohemia Classica. Oh, yes. Everybody said, oh, yes. So I bought a 6-pack, $7.99, no big deal. No one could find it. Can't find it. Can't find it. Everybody's in a panic. We can't find it. They're calling. Oh, one guy says, John Sharon says, the closest I can get it is 120 miles away. No way, I'm driving.
Brilliant.
And then Keone says, oh, yeah, they got it 20 miles from me. But I don't trust them. I'll drive all the way out there, and they won't have it, So only person was Paul. Paul found it, and then he got delayed, and he wasn't able to join me last night. But he contacted me today and said he wants to do an examination later this afternoon. But see, that's an example. That's a very common beer produced by Heineken International of Mexico, but almost no one in the group could find the beer. It was so irritating. But here we are with a craft beer from a small company, and we're drinking it.
I mean, was it this time last week? It was National Dog Day. was it something? And
Dog Day.
yeah, and
Oh yeah, yeah. They have that little dog. Looks like
yeah.
he looks like Pete.
Oh, from is it Rascals or something?
Our
Yeah,
gang.
Petey.
Petey.
Petey from the Little Rascals. Don't you remember Alfalfa? He was my favorite. He was in love with his teacher. He used to say, "Oh, Miss Crabtree, I have something heavy on my heart," and then he would declare his love.
Oh, wait, I thought that was Weezer that loved Miss Crabtree, not Alfalfa.
Oh, whichever. Those Little Rascals, they were cute. You know, that show actually started filming in Ithaca, New York, believe it or not. That's one of Ithaca, New York's little blurbs in television land, in TV land, was the Twilight Zone and the Little Rascals.
Yeah, our gang started in 1923, I think, and it lasted until 1943 or 44. I'm sorry.
Really,
44.
really old. We have, just as a point of interest on Ithaca, New York, not only are we like the most idyllic and scenic place on earth with gorges and waterfalls and just beautiful hills and valleys, but we also have some really neat old stuff, like from the 1920s, and one of the neat old things we have is an old theater called the State Theater. That has like a beautiful, majestic staircase and a balcony, and just used to be like such a beautiful theater. As far as, you know, the old ticket booth that's all in wood, you know, where you would buy your ticket out front before the show, and just a lovely marble and railings, iron, just lovely.
And not to mention that Louisiana has old things also, folks. So don't let now. And I've heard that England.
Yeah, my beer. So I'll tick a lock right about now.
And I've heard that England has a few old things to look at. Now, oh, one more thing. There's a beer I might be able to get today, and it's called Ballantine IPA. Apparently, it showed up in New Orleans. Do you recommend me purchasing that, Maria?
Yeah, Ballantine's IPA done from the original recipe. There was two. Ballantine's made an IPA years and years ago, and then there was two modern versions that came out. The one in the green bottle, or with the green label that says Ballantine's IPA, and then Smutty Nose did one called Cluster's Last Stand, which was, so you had a chance to see this iconic and historic beer, right, made by two different companies. Pabst made the one that you're going to get, Jay, and Smutty Nose made the other, and you had a chance to see that made by two different companies, that very same beer. So yeah, I would recommend it, and get both if you can.
No,
I had Cluster's Last Stand last Thursday here in Yorkshire. It was nice. It's a collaboration between the Smutty Nose and the Stone Brewery.
Yeah, I thought it was nice too. Cluster's Last Stand was a surprise beer for me. Like, I bought one, and then I kept buying it because I thought, well, I just like this a lot. And I was surprised how much I did.
You could definitely tell the body on the Cluster's Last Stand that it was Smutty Nose, and the finish was definitely Stone.
Now, the Ballantine IPA, how does that taste and feel in your mouth comparable to this Lagunitas IPA? Is it very different, or does it have similarities?
It's sweeter.
Sweeter?
I thought it was sweeter, at least off the top of my head. I don't remember, because the last time I had a Ballantine's, it was a long time ago. But I would say it was a touch sweeter than this.
Because I know they just brought it back about a year ago, right?
With a more forward malt presence than this one. Right? Okay. Paler, if I remember right, the beer was actually paler than this one. But don't quote me, because it's been a long time.
I won't quote you.
As it warms, you get a little bit of sweet bread.
Yes.
My beer never has a chance to get warm.
White bread with a little bit of the crust. I got
a little bit more pineapple coming through as well.
Pineapple, but not the bad canned store brand pineapple. Good pineapple.
I am getting a touch of that mango that you mentioned earlier. But the balance is perfect. It goes from like thin to medium, medium to thin. It changes so nicely.
Well, I have some bad news.
What's that? You drank your beer?
It's out.
I still got more bottle to drink.
Couldn't resist it. I had to drink it all. It's gone. It's gone.
So, since you both drank your beers, final verdict on the Lagunitas IPA. Is it a repeat buy?
Yes.
That's
For
ridiculous.
me, it's definitely a repeat buy. Outstanding little beer.
I'm so grateful that it's now available in my local supermarket.
Well, it's a repeat buy without a shadow of a doubt. And in fact, if a person wants to explore India Pale Ales, this is one of the beers they need to drink.
Yes.
But I can name, to be fair, I can name 50 others as well.
If I was to name two IPAs that I would recommend from America, that's both available here in UK as well as America, it would be Sierra Nevada and Lagunitas.
You talking about Torpedo?
Yeah. If there was one brewery that does a really nice IPA that I wish was over here, it's be Brew Kettle. They do some really nice IPAs.
Well, you know, there's a British IPA that's very old school, you know, and a lot of Americans would turn their nose up at it because it's too traditional. But I tried it, and I thought it was fantastic because it was the way they originally tasted, and it's called Worthington's White Shield.
Oh, yeah.
It's from the 1780s or something like that. Boy,
Yeah.
what a dynamite beer.
I think they've just relaunched that brand, haven't they? I've just seen it. I saw it in Ohio and a few stores down south in the UK.
Yeah. What happened? It was one of the
Finally,
original.
would you recommend this to others? As Jay already said, he would recommend it to people that want to get into IPAs.
Oh, definitely, definitely. There's no downside to this beer. It's inexpensive. It exemplifies the American IPA. It's all good and no bad, and it would pair so well with sharp or rich blue cheese.
Yes, nice crackers and a little bit of cheese. Perfect, yeah.
Crackers with sesame seed.
You're in your fancy crackers. And for sessionability?
Extraordinary.
Well, you finish yours.
Extraordinary.
So it's a yes all around then. Lagunitas IPA, definitely check it out if you can. Check out Maria's channel, links down below. Check out Jay's channel, links down below. You take care.